Hello everyone, this is Cole and Cole's Corner podcast number 7. First of all, I'd like to thank you for all your messages, and it's really nice to hear some feedback, and for those that express liking of some of my music. Some of those I recorded a while back. I don't know if I said this before. My whole life I was a professional guitar teacher and a performer. It was absolute love of my life, playing guitar ever since I was a kid. And everything that I ever ended up being or doing came out naturally from me just falling in love with either a guitar. Later on, I fell in love with karate when I was a bit older, and I also loved teaching. When I was in my early days, my teacher said to me, "You want to get good at this? Get some students." And that was the day when I actually learned that if I want to learn something really well, I have to teach it. And so I ended up teaching in Waldorf school, or sometimes called Steiner schools, and as well as some private schools in Sydney, eastern suburbs, for years. And also loved it. Actually only just resigned recently. And then I fell in love with this whole thing of like, what does it really mean to be a man? It's like, wow, I'm 40-something and I'm a bit of a flowster. I mean, what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to really grow up? So I started growing up a bit later. And that was a profound journey to actually find out what does it take to really know my purpose and what's my true heart calling. What's my true heart's calling? And so I started running men's groups, and again they become my love for the men's work and for understanding myself deeper. Became my job, which I still do. I still run men's groups. And of course, my falling in love with Course of Miracles, Course of Love, Right Use the Will, which was 30 years ago, have particularly those two, Course of Love just recently, 5 years ago. And I always end up somehow sharing about these things because it's that same lesson of like, you want to get good at something, share it, teach it. Or I don't find myself much of a teacher. I just like sharing my experiences with these courses. So if I ever sound like I'm telling somebody what they should do, I sincerely apologize. It's more like I love this Course of Love so much, and I'm still completely into it. I'm translating it officially into a Slovakian language, which is a wonderful endeavor and another way of getting it deeper, getting it more visceral, as they say, get it embodied. Because really, like I said last time, it's all about the embodiment. Most of us have not really fully incarnated ourselves as God created us, and a lot it has to do with not knowing the real purpose of feelings and the gift of value, I could even say, knowing the value of feeling. When I was younger, I was thought like, well, I'm all mind and I've somewhere got these feelings, like a little something that just feels, that's just part of me. Until it became obvious to me that that's like more even my main part of me. However, later on, still I realized that it is the balance between feeling and a thought. So once the feelings are more open and flowing and free and accepted as a part of us that has tremendous gifts to offer, it became like this exquisite birther of ideas. Idea comes to my mind, the mind drops into the feeling, or it drops into a feeling realm. Feeling is the great mother of everything that birth is life. She births this idea into love, which creates the heart, and obviously the body is that, which is that then dancing along with this creation. Yeah, so it's like a full embodiment of oneness within. As we unite with ourselves, we unite with everything else. But just coming quickly back to finish my talk about the music, I was asked to share one of my pieces that I've just recorded, and because it's quite long, I'll put it at the very end, but just in here, just to get a little bit of it as a sharing moment of my latest recording that happened maybe a week ago. So here we go. This is Bach's Preludium. Now that I just finished the prelude of the Course of Love, it's a preludium from guitar suite or lute suite actually, and it's they're all numbered, and this one has a number 997. So, like I said, I'll put the rest of it at the very end and just let it play in the background while I continue with the Course of Love. And one thing I like to share about this Course of Love is that what it really taught me is that this love, or this God, this wholeness we're looking for, is already living in us, perfectly accomplished. For some of us, took a little detour away from that place, and we became slightly disconnected from it. Now this course is actually teaching us how to return home. Where is home? Well, home is where the heart is, and it's really returning into that part of us that can feel it, because it just can't be imagined. Well, it can, but it's really not going to do anything. So the images are not a wholeness. They're not complete except in themselves. And our mechanism for imagery is in our upper spheres of association, in our expression, more of a mind, upper thinking realm. But then, as I said, we have this exquisite feeling realm. And to be able to remain back again in this feeling realm, we got to befriend our feelings, particularly the ones that we judged or decided that are negative feelings, like the unpleasant feelings, those intense feelings that we just don't want to go near them. And no matter what we do, they seem to keep coming back. However, here comes that story of a princess and a frog, and that's how we actually come to this place where we begin to kiss these dark feelings. Imagine those feelings are just like a frog. Love them, genuinely love them, and accept them. They will begin to transform into a prince. For men, I would say the other way, because we're not princesses, except for some of us. For a man, he kisses this frog inside at the unpleasant feeling, and she turns into a princess. She, the great mother of everything, sends her first allies in a way of very light feelings that are more loving, more open, more flowing. Most important thing is that feelings are like the ocean. They flow. We have shallow feelings where they have currents, they have different temperature, different texture, and we go deeper, they're more dense. And when we go, there's pressure. When we go surface, and when we go on top of the ocean, it's just we experience these wavy things, like waves, right? Those are usually not our real feelings. We're really not dived in yet. So these general feelings we usually experience, they're just like the surface stuff, right? So if something triggers, that means you have got in touch with a feeling. Something is mildly irritating you. Just know that that's just an iceberg of a feeling that's deep, deep below. However, grab the iceberg and let yourself be taken in. It's like, hey, feeling, take me deeper. And when you think you're deep, you go, feeling, take me deeper. And again, it's very important to be aware to what depth we can genuinely go into. We don't want to throw ourselves into the depth and not being able to handle it. Because unless the mind is trained how to be present for these feelings, we're not going to be able to handle this exquisite depth and the treasures that are down there, the gifts of the kingdom, of the mother, I would say the queendom, of the great mother of everything, which is the feeling. And from my understanding, vastly misunderstood part of ourselves. So, as you all know, that's usually my main message, is to how to resurrect. That's what resurrection really is. We free these feelings from the prison they have been put into. By who? By us. By simply not accepting all of ourselves. Once these feelings are fully loved and accepted, they begin to love you back. That's the beauty of it. It's like, what's my relationship to this feeling? But then what is that feeling's relationship to me as the thinking, speaking part of myself? How about feelings don't express through words? We're trying to, but it's not a real avenue of expression of feelings. It's feeling them more and more and more, and just stepping back and letting them keep feeling, just feeling more and feeling more and more and forevermore. And I'm finding very difficult to even talk, because as soon as I go through the iceberg, the top of the iceberg, what happens next is like this magnetic force that the feelings are. You know, they're magnetic, they're not electric. Thoughts are electric. They begin to draw me down. They begin to sink me to a place I don't know. And that's what we call the fear of God. Because the deeper we go, the more we experience our true self, our whole ocean, not just the shallow aspects, but we're going deeper now, yeah? And this magnetic force has a capacity to take us. We can't just go and rock up in there. There also has to be a certain understanding in the mind that can handle this level of depth. And that's what we call a real presence. You know, like how many women find that men are amazingly present, like really present? Not many, huh? So this presence is almost an unknown entity in this world. And I think I was 44 when I first time was somehow shown experientially what it means to be really present, to a point where somebody outside of me would say, "Oh wow, that's a real presence there," and I'm going, "Wow, this is amazing," because without that reflection, I wouldn't even know that that's what the presence was. So this is a really deep subject on what does it truly mean to be present, and also what does it really mean to be fully open. Yeah, like fully open. So now that I address these feelings, I come back to that idea of what did this course of love do for me? And one thing was for sure that the part of me that feels showed me what love really feels like. So an easy way to this, if you haven't really gone through the whole book, is to could I allow myself to love myself totally, let's say. If I ask that question, could I allow myself in this very moment love myself completely? And if you have at least a little yes, and your feeling body is free, it will begin to immediately manifest the new level of love that was not there before. Yeah, I think I mentioned it last week, that in the Course in Miracles, he says, like, what is peace of God, It's something, which is love, of course. It's something that has never gone before. So creation is a brand new thing. So if we step back enough and let this will to manifest this love for us, it will show us a love that we don't know. If we know it, It's sweet. We are tapping into our resources of our essence, but we don't know the brand new birth that's occurring right now. And as this course is all about the birth of the heart and the birth of the new, this is an important subject to bring in. It's like, how much love can we allow ourselves to feel before we lose presence for it? Because one thing is to have this love flowing, and the other one is to be present for it, so it begins to birth the heart. The new way of being, to a point when you feel this exquisite elevation in your body. And when the feelings are completely free and no longer pushed down or held down, they begin to flow upwards. And then you will suddenly feel that there is a very subtle, slow energy flowing from the bottom up, until it reaches your mind and actually transforms it into this exquisite presence. Because you know what? Suddenly your mind has something to be present for. Because if these feelings were shut down and locked up, the mind's gone wandering somewhere else, because there was nothing to be present for. However, when these exquisite golden feelings begin to surface, the presence of your mind goes, hang on a second, something's going on. That's why the revelations are so exquisite, because suddenly you're coming into a revealing something brand new that was not before in your awareness. Even things like you've never maybe even read about or thought were possible. Because this is the birth of something that's now. It's a now feeling. It's not something that's been locked away and became what we call a karmic feeling, which means a feeling that was held down. Let's say you were a little kid, something was occurring, you started feeling something, you're like, whoa, there's no way I can have this in here. And we just basically held it within. And you know what? That feeling might have not moved since then. So that brings us into the acknowledgement that there is two types of feelings, one that's flowing and one that is held. And the one that is held is usually the one that says, like, how are you feeling? Oh yeah, I'm feeling a little bit frustrated. That's a held feeling. But if you go into the feeling that's free, it's like, how are you feeling? And you were not going to be able to name it, because it's a brand new thing just happening now. It had no comparison. Yeah. Someone asked me today, how you feel? I'm going like, whew. And all I could do, share my feelings just by feeling them, until they could feel me feeling that feeling within myself, and it became one with another person's will. Yeah, their will and my will become one. So really it's that simple. Like, how much love can we allow ourselves to feel and be present, stay present for that love, and stay present to this new birthing thing that we could be afraid of. And one little danger that usually comes in, once we have this exquisite connection, comes this funny little program that's in us. And then program is called desire to get rid of it. Yeah. You know, how many times we feel exquisite love and it comes like, God, I don't think I can handle this anymore. It's just so intense. And we kind of get rid of it, or we make ourselves busy, or suddenly we need to go somewhere. Oh my God, I'm late for this. And we exchange this beauty, this birth of the new, for some thing we need to do. Like check Facebook or see if Barry has sent any new podcast out. Just kidding. Gosh, I love the guy. Amazing what he does, eh? So today, I'd like to go to the chapter 1, and that very chapter is called A Course of Love. Yeah? And it starts like this. It says, every living being has a heart. It's a pregnant pause, isn't it? It's like, whoa, feel that. Every, what? Every, not just some. Every. Even the guys we have a bit of a problem with, right? Every living being has a heart. Now, this is the fastest way to forgive. Because, this heart is something we can't really see. But we can what? We can feel it, right? That's why we need this part of us that feels to be available. And because every living being has a heart, they might even not be sure what that really means, right? But every living being has a heart. And so to tune into everyone's heart, find someone you really like or love, and just feel their heart. And then suddenly it gets revealed in you. But not only does it reveal the heart, it reveals your own heart. Yeah, because we are one heart. And when we get to that place, which is pure heart, we feel everyone's heart. Then it said, let us define heart as a center of being. That place from which all feeling arises. What? This is a chapter 1. He brings it to you straight on a golden plate. That place from which all feeling arises. All true feeling is love. Now, when we free up our will, our feeling part of ourselves, does not matter what feeling we feel. When we release judgments about feelings and we set them free, they will begin to express themselves the way they need to express, and not how the mind thought needs to express them. And when you feel that true expression of a feeling, all true feeling is what? Love. And then it says, all love praises God. Right? Because that's all God is. We're in a praise, because we are living it now. We're in a perfect oneness with ourselves. The separation really begins when we split ourselves from our feeling. We create two camps. Me, the good one, and the feelings, the bad ones. Right? And now you have duality. You split yourself in two. Now you're going to see everything as two. And now suddenly we have like a world full of many different things. We live in a dual world. But try this. And one yourself with yourself entirely, which is just really all your feelings are yours. They're not anyone else's. They might resemble someone else's feeling, but they're all our feeling. Now there is no blame. Now there is no need to say, hey, that's someone else's feeling. So all my feelings. You feel them, they knew. Even so they appeared as projected out or coming from someone else. Now, let's go on. This is loaded, isn't it? All love is recognition of the glory of God and all God created. Love is the only pure response of the created for the Creator. The only response of the Creator to the created. And therefore, your recognition of what love is will return you to God and yourself. Now, if you're looking in the book, this self is with a capital S. This is that part of ourselves that when that returns, we're done, we're complete. There is no more searching. The only thing that begins to happen is giving. Because once we find our true self, our core part of our being, we begin to give it. And it begins to shine from us as a radiance that some might recognize and some might not. But you know when you're oozing. You know my saying, if you don't ooze, you lose, right? So if you're not an oozer, you could be a loser. Why a loser? Because you lose the joy that the giving gives you. Like I said, it's very different to giving in this world. So in this world, I have a pen. I go, hey, here, it's for you, pen. And now I don't have a pen. You have a pen. I'm happy that you have a pen. But I can't write anything. In truth. And this is also one of those core understanding. In truth, the more love you give, the more love you experience. And that's the design. We were designed to give love. And when we give love and have it, we have everything. If we withhold love, which is chapter 5, a beautiful chapter on what happens to us when we begin to withhold the love, we lose it. We lose it in ourselves, and now comes needs. We need someone to love us. We think that if someone doesn't love us, we're not going to feel loved. It's total fallacy. It's only because we denied the love, we stop giving and we stop receiving it. Because giving and receiving is one in truth. Whatever you're giving, that's what you're having. If you're feeling not so good, you are giving something not so good. But give love and test it and prove me right on this one. Not that I need to be right, but we all need to be right on this particular one. And so it comes to a point which is really interesting and quite fascinating to find out that suddenly came to a place where I lost the need to be loved by somebody. However, if I ignite this love in myself, and so do you, there is a brand new sharing of this, which will help us to increase it. That doesn't mean we now have to be intimately kind of connected, or it's like, whoa, I had a whole instant with you, let's get married. None of that. Actually, we completely lose the need for speed. Just kidding. So it really comes back to this lesson 108 from Course in Miracles, as you give, so you receive. And all our fulfillment really comes from giving. And I find this lesson so beautiful at the very end of lesson 108. It says, just think of something you want, and then begin to say to everyone, I offer. And then you say whatever it is. Let's say you want peace. To everyone, I offer peace. And just to add to it, and this is one of those golden nuggets, because I've done this for many years and I thought it was sweet. But it was until I begin to feel the peace. Because peace is actually a feeling. Yeah, you feel peaceful. And it was until I really begin to feel these things that they begin to extend and expand from me and really begin to fulfill my own lack, which was basically years of hoarding. What can I get? Yeah. And as the mind evolved, it goes more into this place like, what can I give? What can I offer? How can I serve a greater good? I ask that question, and then we wait what comes. I have no idea how that's done. But just that intention, how to be truly helpful. I have no idea how to be truly helpful. Because I might think you might need certain help, but you might not need that kind of help. You might need something completely different. So in there it becomes a prayer, How can I be truly God? How can I be truly helpful? What would serve the greater good? Yeah, and now we don't know. We just put it out there and we go along with our day, and then things begin to happen. Because what? We put a good prayer in there. When we focus like, what can I get? We kind of, it's actually somewhere here in the Course of Love, it says, what is, in a real relationship, the more, in a special relationship, if there's no special relationship, what can I get out of this relationship? Imagine you walk into a relationship and go, what can I give? And you ask that question, and you begin to offer things. And because you've asked and you didn't really fill it in with your mind, the God within you knows what the other person needs. And then suddenly you begin to act a certain way. And they go, how did you know? How did you know to do it like this? So there's a beautiful understandings on how important it is to serve the whole sonship rather than just to serve myself. The more I pray for the goodness and happiness of others, more fulfilling it comes back. Okay, so he goes on. You learn in A Course in Miracles that all knowledge is generalizable. So is all feeling. Now, check this out. All feeling results from love or lack of love. There are no other reasons for the feeling that you experience. All feelings are generated by the heart and have nothing to do with the body. In that sense, the body is more like a part of us that reflects in us how all of this manifestation came to be. Yeah, if you come with your little mind, your body's probably going to show you it's not feeling too good. You come from generosity of heart. You start feeling amazing. Your body will lit up, yeah, like the Christmas tree. It will ignite into light. The heart of the body is the altar at which all your offerings to God are made. Yeah, so it's really just the prayer of the heart, and not necessarily just the words we use in prayer. It's that deep, deep desire to ask for what would serve the greater good, let's say. All offerings are love or lack of love. Lack of love is nothing. Thus, all offerings made from a place other than love are nothing. All offerings made from a place of fear or guilt are nothing. 1.3. Love is the condition of your reality. In your human form, your heart must beat for the life of yourself, not capital S, to take place. This is the true nature of your reality. Love is as essential to your being as the heart to the body. Now we're talking about the heart that runs the body, right? Pumps the blood. You would not exist without love. It is there even if you are as unaware of it as you are of beating of your heart. A baby is not less alive because it does not realize its heart is beating. You are no less your capital S self, even though you do not realize that without love you would not exist. That love is our source, and if that love was just turned off right now, we'll basically vanish as we die. .4 God's only thought is love. It is a thought without limit, endlessly creating. Because of the extension of God's thought of love, you exist. I exist with you, this is Jesus speaking, in this self-same thought. You do not understand this only because you do not understand the nature of your own thoughts. You have placed them inside your body, conceptualizing them in a form that makes no sense. 1.5 Yet, when you apply your thought in learning, you learn. Let this encourage you. This is an ability we can use together to learn now. So you can say, well, I have thoughts. Yeah. Now we have real thoughts, and then we have this like a junk box thoughts. You know those thoughts that just keep running and you just don't even know why you're thinking some crazy thoughts? You know why they're there? They basically are the result of, first of all, higher vibration. Yeah, because as you might have noticed that the world is speeding up, which is not good for us at all. And when we speed up, we don't know what's what. We're grabbing thought from radios and people and telepathically. Yeah, we just get this constant, enormous amount of data, and we can't handle, we can't process it. But yet they have nowhere to go. So next minute they're just trying to process themselves. But there's so many of them that they can't be undone. And again, here comes the gift of feeling. When you realize the value of feeling, you'll realize that your thoughts have vanished. Because what feelings do, they ground this madness. And here we go. Feelings are slow. They're actually not fast. They can be, but generally, feelings are more like a very, very slow vibration. When I begin to talk about feelings, I start to lose voice. It's just tapping a little bit deeper into my feeling self. It dislodges this thing that's talking. In the Course in Miracles, there's a lesson, I think 44, it says, perception is not an attribute of God. So all of this thinking, this miscellaneous thoughts that are running through our head, that's just like a static, it's a distortion. Later on, we're going to learn about the art of thought. And this is a thought that's connected to the feeling. That you think something and immediately explodes in your feeling and informs the thought what it's actually saying. So now there is unity between thinking and feeling, which again births the heart. Right there is the birth of the heart again. 1.6, he goes, you should be in a hurry only to hear the truth. And here he's saying what I just said a while back. And of course, all of the ways that you act when you want to hurry backward to what you would achieve. Because let your worries come and let your worries go. Remember always that they simply do not matter except in terms of time, and that you will save time by letting them go. Remember that your worries affect nothing. You think if your worries affect time, this is an effect, but time is an illusion. It too does not matter. Remind yourself of this as well. This is part of letting go of the old world to make way for the new. So we can't change this world, but we can create a new one. And we've been trying to change the world, but really, nothing has really changed much. Actually, if anything, we look around, there's a pretty big turmoil going on wherever we go, right? So that can't be fixed. No one can sort out the situation that's going on. And no one has an answer. However, we have to begin on within. In Course in Miracles, there is this idea of attack thoughts. Until we feel, we don't even know we're having these attack thoughts. And if someone asks me about this whole idea of COVID, I think, this is the manifestation of our inner attack thoughts. Those are those very subtle thoughts that are constantly telling us how we could be doing better, how we should look better, how things should be better. Yeah, constantly attacking every single moment with how we're not performing 100%, how we shouldn't be this tired, how we shouldn't be like that. Those are all inner attack thoughts. And when you look at this, so they're like this invisible form or invisible ideas, invisible weapons, really, that attack us. And if you look at COVID, what does it do? It comes out of nowhere, you don't see it, but it attacks you. and you don't even know you have it for a few days until, you know, the body begins to react to it. So for me, and you know, I'm not very opinionated on these subjects, but to me, that's like the outer manifestation of this inner attack system that is at war within. And a war is only because we have these two camps that can oppose each other. And a camp is the thought, and the other camp is the feeling. I'm enjoying that crow. There's a crow right there. It's letting everyone know that it's 6 p.m. in the evening, Saturday, and since I've been playing guitar lately quite a bit, just gonna play this little piece again. Very short part of it. I'm just learning this, and it's so beautiful, and it just keeps going through my head. And I thought I'll just give a little interlude after this heavy subject. So there it was, and it's just very early days, but it's just such a beautiful and heartfelt tune. So I just thought I'll share it. Anyway, back to the book. So it's good to let go of these conflicts that we have in our mind, yeah? And like he talks about here about the worries. The worries never really helped us very much. Just to let them go, so the mind can just relax a little bit. But mostly, all our troubles begin when we having a feeling arising, we push this feeling away. Now, that takes away the grounding mechanism for the mind, and the mind goes rampant. You know, mind goes wild thinking about weird things and worries, but the minute the feeling returns, we get grounded again, and we go, gosh, what was I thinking about? This is an easy solution. Boom, boom, and you're there. And that is really the art of thought. Yeah, you return yourself back to revelation. You know, the thought creates states that are more artful, just like paintings. Just suddenly feeling exquisite within. 1.7. It is as if you carried your heavy luggage with you everywhere, just in case you might need something. Now you are beginning to trust that you will not need these things you have carried. Like, no heavy coat. For you trust the sun will shine, that warmth will surround you. You are an immigrant coming to a new world with all your possessions in hand. But as you glimpse what once was a distant shore and now is near, you realize none of what you formerly possessed and called your treasures are needed. How silly you feel you have carted them from one place to another. What a waste of time and energy to have been slowed down by such a heavy burden. What a relief to realize that you need carry it no more. You do not realize as yet how heavy was your burden. Had you literally carried a heavy and useless trunk from one world to another, when you had been told by someone wiser, this is Jesus speaking, that it would not be needed? Let's listen to this guy, Jesus. He's kind of prepared it all for us. He understands the resurrection. He understands the return to the heart. Yeah. He's showing us that he's not about preaching stuff, that he's basically about just inviting us back to our own self. Yeah. He's just reminding us that what he has, we all have, and that we're not supposed to follow him, just to follow his way. He showed us. He said like, hey, try this and try this and try that. And as you do, you go like, oh my God, I've never seen this like this. And we go away from the old world, away from the traditions. We're now waking up to a brand new way of being. Today is not a great art to have a plenty of light in our body. We just pause for a moment, we flow with the feelings, the heart ignites, the light has come. And we just begin to shine, yeah. Eventually you get so good at it, it happens to you all the time. You're basically in a flow. If not, you just pause for a moment and go like, hey, what's happening? You pause for a moment, your feelings will let you know. And you go, oh, I'm holding a feeling here. You let it go, boom, back in a flow again. So, so here is Jesus giving us this shortcut to this, what could be a very long journey. And then 1 minute, there is a birth of something brand new. Comes Jesus, and this really do come to acceptance of Jesus, because he is basically our own heart projected outward. And he's coming back and say, okay, I'll let you believe that there is some guy who has love and you don't, but now the time is up, you know. You couldn't handle yourself, but I'm going to prepare and train your mind in another way where you can wake up to your own exquisiteness, to your own accomplishment, because the truth is only you can be accomplished. It's not good for you, it's not good to you to watch some guy who has it. You want it, no? You want to be that. And then you become that, and then all you can do is then share it. Sometimes I listen to speakers and I'm going like, how does one explain the inexplicable? And so they all have these different ways of doing it. But ultimately, we want to have this awakening ourselves. Yeah. And so I'll skip a little bit in here, and I bring you to this place where Jesus eventually goes, okay, let's get on with it. And the first sentence he says, hey, resign as your own teacher. What? Yeah, resign as your own teacher. Accept me as your teacher and accept that I will teach you the truth. Whoa. Find no shame in this. You cannot learn what I would teach you without me. This is very true, because you can't heal mind with the mind. You need something else. You actually need to someone come from as if outside and burst this bubble called mind, because it can't be undone without that, right? So the minute you accept, this I guarantee you, because it was my experience, I had this moment where I'm going like, okay, Jesus, 100% acceptance. Not 99, not 70, not nearly, not really, 100%. Do you know what? The minute I went, okay, and it was sincere and it was congruent. There was this presence that just showed up, popped the bubble, freed the mind. Yeah, the feeling around just poured out. And it goes, there's the kingdom. See ya. And there it was. I was like, whoa. It left me there. I was like, okay. Do you know what? I could not open this book for months because my experience was like as if he just dropped the whole course of love and go like, here it is where we were actually heading. I'll give it to you at the beginning, then you can study and fill in the gaps of all this later. Well, true, because I spent almost 6 months not even touching the book. And then I slowly begin to open it again and get these gems on how to sustain this, how to maintain this, how to keep this alive. It says like, so accept me as your teacher and accept that I'll teach you the truth. Find no shame in this. You cannot learn what I would teach you without me. Watch this. He said, you have tried in countless ways and you can still try again, but you will not succeed. You see, we can't do it without this loving presence that we've projected so far away from us that it feels like it's been around 2,000 years ago. So it's like a long time ago, right? So suddenly here it is. Yeah. But you will not succeed. Not because you're not smart enough. Not because you will not try hard enough. But because it is impossible. This was the moment for me. Because it is impossible. It is impossible to learn anything on your own. Your determination to do so only blocks your learning. So there is one little principle that when we get to this place of creation, it's effortless. It's actually, if you begin to try it, it's not going to work. You come to this place where, how can I not do anything at all? Nothing. You're going to have not even a 1% of effort anywhere. Zero. Complete surrender. And in that surrender, the creative power of your core being ignites and begins to do what it always did, except we were just too busy avoiding it. It is only through union with me that you learn, because it is only in union with me that you are yourself, capital S. All your effort is based on disbelief of this truth and your attempts to prove that this truth is not the truth. All that this brings you is frustration. All of your seeming success from this effort brings you is pride to offer to your ego. This gift your ego demands is not worth the price you pay. The price of this gift is everything. This is right at the beginning of the book. It's just like the real injunction, I would say, or like you're at this precipice, just sitting there going like, whoa, I resign as my own teacher. Oh. Can you? Can you truly resign as your own teacher and accept this Jesus or, this Christ consciousness that's available? It comes as soon as we ask. Yeah, ask and you shall receive. So you ask for this wholeheartedly and it's yours. This book gives you all the background and foundation in how to build your house on a solid ground where you can go through the upheaval that this brings up, because it completely reshuffles everything you've ever believed, and it shows you a new way of being altogether. So that's roughly the chapter 1, very roughly. There's been more to go, but I'm running out of space and don't want to make this way too long, so I'll continue with this chapter next week. In the meantime, I'm wishing you all fulfilling moments with feeling into this exquisite message that is offered to all of us just upon asking. There it is, it's available, and it's very beautiful to listen to it. Barry has quite a bit of it recorded as audios, but I warmly recommend to go in your own speed. And what I found, that the slower I go, the faster I go. So